In this video, we will continue working with edit profile user interface, and we will write business logic to complete this feature. So I will select edit profile user interface view controller and open it in assistant editor. Okay, so now I have my edit profile view controller opened, and the first thing that I will do, I will create outlets and action connectors for my buttons and edit text fields. So first one will be the edit button, and for this button I need an action. So I will select the button, hold Control, drag and drop it somewhere here, and that will be connection type action, and I will name it done button tapped. Okay, so when user taps on this button, we want to dismiss current view controller. So I will do it right away. Self dismiss view controller animated, true, and completion nil. Okay, so next one will be our profile picture image view. So I'll select image, click, drag and drop it somewhere here, and that will be an outlet, and I will give it the name profile picture. Image view. One for change profile picture, and that will also be action. So connection type action, and I'll call it choose profile button tapped. Choose profile button tapped, or choose profile picture button tapped. So when user taps on this button, we will present user with an image picker and let them select profile picture from one of photos available on their device. Next, we will create outlets for each of our form, and we will start with first name. So I will hold Control, click, drag, and that will be first name text field and last name text field, and one for password, and one for repeat password. Okay, so outlets are created, and do we have yes, and one last one for save button tapped. So that will be an action outlet as well, so connection action, and I will call it save button tapped. Okay, so outlets are created and we can start working with it. Well, first thing that we will probably do next is we will load up user details. When our edit profile interface loads up, when view.load is called, we want to load user information that we already know, like profile picture, first name, last name, and this information will come from information that we have stored on Parse. So we're going to work with Parse Cloud, and I will import Parse. Okay, and I have prepared a few lines of code to make this video shorter. So, and I will just paste it here. So first steps are to load user first name and last name and put them into our text fields, like first name text field and last name text field. And what I'm doing here, I'm referencing parse a user object, and then I call current user, and from current user I read information which is stored in our keys first name and last name. If I quickly go to my parse, here's my users table, and under users table I have keys like first name and I have last name. Okay, so once this information is read, I have it in my variables, user first name and user last name variables, and then I put them into first name and last name text fields. Okay, so next I'm going to read profile picture, and that will also come from parse because user profile picture is stored in the same class. So what I will do, my class has a key which is called profile picture. Let's look it up. Here it is, profile picture. And what I'm checking if there is a key profile picture, and if there is, I'm starting loading up. I will create a special type of a variable which is called pf file, and then I will reference this object pf file, and I will call get data in background with block on it. And what will it do? It will start downloading image data in background, and once it downloaded the image, completion handler will be called, and this line of code will be executed. So once image data arrived from our server side, we will create a new UI image with this image data, and then we will assign our profile image view a new image which we have just downloaded from our Parse Cloud. So this should work, and this should load profile picture, first name and last name into our text fields. Let's stop this application and run it, see how it works. Okay, my application is up and running. I will tap on to open left side navigation menu, tap on edit, and I have my image and first name and last name loaded. I can tap on done button to dismiss this view controller and tap again, and the image, profile image, first name, last name is loaded up. Okay, so very good, it's working. One more thing though, when data in background with block is executed, and just before we are using data, we are instantiating UI image with image data. Let's check that our image data is not nil. So I'll copy it and I'll use if statement is not equals to nil, then we will set it. Okay, so that should work. Okay, next let's enable change profile picture button, and let's implement functionality that will help user select profile picture and set a different one. I think we've enabled a change profile picture button. Yes, it's called choose profile button tapped. So when user taps on this button, we want to present user with image picker. And for that, we will need to make our edit profile view controller to conform to a couple of delegates. One of them is called UI image picker controller delegate. Here it is. And the other one is called UI navigation controller delegate. Okay, so when I hold command button on my keyboard and click on UI image picker controller delegate, it will open the protocol functions, and there is one that we will use, this one, optional function image picker controller did finish picking media information. So I will copy this one and I'll scroll down here and I'll paste it here. So this function will be called when user selected the image, and it will pass to us an info object which will contain the image data. Okay, but before we go to this function, let's instantiate our image picker controller and present it to the user. I have a few lines of code ready, so I'll just paste them here. So what we are doing here, we are instantiating image picker controller, setting the delegate to self, and we're specifying its source type to be a photo library, telling that user is going to be picking images from their photo library, and then we're presenting this image picker controller to the user. Okay, so once user selects the image picker controller did finish picking media with information will be called, and image will be passed to us with the info object. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab this profile picture image view, and we will use it. I'll say image equals, and then we will reference to this info object, and from info object we can access UI image picker, image picker media information original image, picker controller original image. This is what we need as UI image, and that will set our image to the one user selected. And the last thing that we need to do in this function is to dismiss view controller animated completion nil. Okay, so that should work. Let's quickly run it and make sure we have everything working. So I'll tap on edit button, choose profile picture. I have my photo library here, and I'll choose a different one. So now it works. Okay, very good. Image is selected, and I guess the last functionality that we need to implement is save button. So let's go ahead and implement save button tab. I will look for my save button tab here at the very bottom. Okay, and in the save button, what we are going to do, we are going to collect if we're going to make sure that our fields are not empty, and then if password is provided, then we will update the password as well. Otherwise, we will leave password and we will not update the password. So, and we will start because we're going to be working with user object. First of all, I will instantiate current user object. Second, I will get profile image data. I don't know if user selected a new one or not. We can write this business logic, but we'll keep it simple. We'll simply grab the image from our profile image view, and then we will convert it into JPEG before uploading to the server side. Next, what we will do, we will check if fields are not empty, if required fields are not empty. For example, if user completely erased everything, like password, new password was not provided, it's okay. But if user erased first name and last name, that's not okay. So we should not let user submit form when all fields are empty. So here, what I'm doing is I'm checking if password text field is empty, if first name field is empty, and the last name is empty, and if profile image data is also empty. If there is nothing loaded, then we will simply display an alert message saying that all fields cannot be empty. Okay, so next we will need to check if user decided to update their password or not. And if user decided to update their password, then we need to make sure that password values match. So I will use another if statement, and here I will simply check if password text field is not empty, and if it's not, and password text field is equal to password repeat text field. If those are not equal, then I will display an alert message saying passwords do not match, and I will return as well. I will not let user continue. Okay, and a very last, again, one more check is just to make sure that first name and last name are not empty. If first name is not and last name is not empty, if one of them, if is empty, then we will display another alert message saying that first name and last name fields cannot be null. Again, this checks for empty fields and which field should be required and which field should be optional. It's up to your needs. I just implemented these few checks. Okay, now we can start setting up updating user details. in our user object. We have declared our parse user object up here. Current pf user current user is instantiated. So below here, I will read the values from first name text field, last name text field, and then I will update my currently logged in user object with this values for each key. So I will use a statement set object for key first name to user first name and last name to user last name. I can do it now because I'm sure that first name and last name are not empty. Okay, so next I need to make sure that I can update the password. So I will use the if statement to check if password text is not empty, and if it's not, I know that user decided to update their password, and I can I can set a new password to my user object. I'm not checking anymore if password fields are matching because I have done it earlier here. I checked that my password, both passwords that user typed, do match. Okay, so and the last thing that I want to do is I want to set profile picture. I'm going to check if a profile image data is not null, and here where I did it, profile image data, I read profile picture image from the image view, and it's now JPEG representation. So I'm checking if it's not null, and then I'm creating a special type object PF file with that image data, and then I'm setting my setting this object on my parse currently logged in user object with the key profile photo. I think it should be picture, profile picture. Let's just double check. When we load information, yes, it's called profile picture. Okay. Okay, so this should complete update of our user object. So we set a new image, we set a new password if it's not empty, and we set a new username and user first name and last name. Okay, and now we are ready to submit our information to Cloud Service. And before we send HTTP request in our in this application, we display activity indicator, which is MB progress HUD. We display it with the label text, please wait. We can add a detailed text, please wait while loading, or please wait, I'm saving information, something like this. Okay, once it's done, we can use save background with block on user object. So I also have this function ready on my user. It's a lengthy one, so I will complete it here. So now I'm referencing my user and I call save in background with block. This will send user object to parse together with user first name, last name, and image. And once information is successfully stored, parse will respond back and completion handler will be executed. And if everything went well, we will have a Boolean value success. And or if there is an error, we will have an error object populated. So when information arrives, first of all, we need to hide our activity indicator because it is circling and we need to hide it. Next thing, we can check if the error object is not nil. If an error took place, we can display an alert message. So I will use if statement to check if error is not nil. I will display alert message with a description of this alert message, and it's here. I reference error object and then I call for localized description. And then I'm presenting this view controller alert message to a user. But if everything went well, then I can display another alert message, which is basically which says that everything went well, user details are successfully stored. So I will use if success, I'll create a custom message, profile details successfully updated, pass it to my alert controller and display it. Now here with this alert controller, we implement completion handler. So when user taps on OK button, we have a completion handler here, and inside of this completion handler we have a couple of lines of code. Well, first of all, when user taps on OK button, we want to dismiss edit profile. We want to dismiss the alert message, and we want to dismiss edit profile user interface. And once profile user interface is dismissed, we need to update user details on our left side navigation menu. I will show you exactly what I mean. Now let's comment out this line for a moment. So so this is it for the completion handler of saving user profile details and background. Basically, it's very simple. It has two if statements, one for error and one for success. If error, we display alert message. If success, we display success message. So let's quickly run this application and see how it works. So I'll tap on edit button and I will update my first name, Sergey. I will add one, and family name I will add one, and I'll choose a different profile picture. I'll choose the one with the flower here. Okay, and now I'll hit save. Save. Please wait. Profile details successfully updated. So it worked now. So once I tap on OK, alert message should dismiss, and the edit profile details should dismiss. So I hit OK. Everything went, but my first name here and last name here did not update, and profile picture did not update on the left side navigation menu. So, but if I tap on edit button again, edit profile details load, and I see the new picture and I see the new first name and last name. If I dismiss it, this information is still old. So let's fix that.